Hello there and welcome to the Bitcoin Takeover podcast. I am Vlad and today I have a special interview with Sergej Kotliar, who is the CEO of Bitrefill. And you probably know Bitrefill if you're watching this, and it's very likely that you bought some gift cards. But lately they have been in the middle of a campaign to save the bankers because they're doing so well that they're afraid that this profession might go extinct. So they're very nice people. They also have some of the nicest shoes that actually pay for themselves with some sort of Bitcoin mining ASIC that's in the box. And he's going to have to explain how that works. But most importantly, they keep on adding services, and now you can even pay bills in the United States. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot to discuss. And I'm really happy that I finally have him on the Bitcoin Takeover podcast. I had him before on other interviews for other outlets. But now, Sergej, it's really good to have you. So what's going on with Bitrefill? What's the latest news that you want to talk about now, and then we can backtrack?
Yeah, well, thanks, man. I think you laid out the whole story. There's a lot of stuff going on, both from, the campaign, viral marketing, activism, whatever, but also the nitty-gritty of, like you said, adding more things. We're focused the way we've been for 7 years now on, making it possible to live on crypto, to live on Bitcoin, and to buy whatever it is that you want to buy with your coins. And we're, to my knowledge, we're the largest service of all categories where people spend the Bitcoin on things that are not shitcoins. And we're now at a point where we're thinking really hard about how to grow the pie, because we're doing quite well as a company, but in the big scheme of things, in the big scheme of 100 million Coinbase users, the circular economy part is small, right? No matter if you look at the Bitcoin part or the broader crypto part, it's still small. And so we're spending a lot of effort experimenting on okay, we need to get this to grow to a bigger audience, and so we need to do things that get attention and appeal. And we're in the business of making tech that is really reliable, right? And reliable is also boring, right? By definition. I mean, exciting technology is, the definition of it is that it doesn't really work yet, right? And we're in the business of making really reliable stuff, which is great, but it doesn't, hey, I can buy gift cards for my Bitcoin. It's not what people wake up for in the morning. And so we're trying to figure out how to make the circular economy appealing, fun for people to be part of. And so yeah, we've been doing a lot of these outside of our usual things, campaigns, and I'm happy to talk about those. And the most recent product news is we launched bill payments in the US of A. It's a service that we previously only had in El Salvador. Now we have it in 2 countries, El Salvador and US of A. There's going to be more coming up. You should expect that. But yeah, so now you can use your Bitcoin to pay for your credit card bill, your mortgage, your life insurance, your social security, your student debt, whatever you got, basically. So it's a big step for American Bitcoiners to be able to cut the card, let's say, and to start actually living much more on in the circular economy.
Yeah, and before Bernie Sanders comes up with the idea to print more Bitcoins to pay the student debt of everyone in the United States via Bitrefill.
Yeah, well, Bernie, you know where to find us.
Right. So why save the bankers? I did see your campaign. It's very compelling. It's tear-jerking. You read it and you're like, these people have been the elites for such a long time, like hundreds of years. you had emperors, and then you had these aristocrats, and then you had the bourgeoisie, but the bankers have been kind of a constant for the last maybe 500 years. And now we're making them obsolete, and they have a very high maintenance lifestyle that we need to help them keep, right? And I did notice that you can donate on some sort of, I think it was a GoFundMe page or something like that. And you say that you don't accept small amounts because they're insulting to the lifestyle of a banker. So what's that about?
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, the bankers are the bourgeoisie of our time, and I think if you think about it, like the true beauty in history, the Versailles, the Taj Mahal, these things were always built by the kings or the royalty or the bourgeoisie or the ultra rich, yeah, right. And so if we get rid of that class of people and businesses, then we're going to lose out on a lot of the beauty. And so we raised this campaign where we went down to El Salvador in November of last year, and collected funds from the people of El Salvador to save the bankers and their amazing lifestyle. So we ran a GoFundMe. It actually got shut down because GoFundMe didn't. I don't know if they thought it wasn't serious or if they don't believe that the bankers are actually worth saving. So. Yeah, but the campaign goes on, and now it's crypto only. But you can still donate through Bitrefill to support the bankers who we not as Bitrefill, but we the Bitcoiners are now endangering. Maybe they're going to have regular jobs. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you're watching this and you haven't, go to www.savethebankers.com and watch the video where we kind of explain the whole thing in much better detail. I very much recommend it.
Yes, you should save a banker, like adopt one. Except that you don't take him into your home. You basically pay for him to stay in fancy hotels with cocaine and hookers and all of that lifestyle that needs to be preserved, because otherwise it's going to go away and you're going to miss it. So what about the other stuff about the shoes? There were like 5 pairs of shoes that you made, and you said that they come into a box that actually is a Bitcoin miner. You keep it plugged. I think if you keep it plugged for like 10 years, you can actually pay for the shoes.
It's much longer than that. You need to keep it plugged for a very, 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 very long time. But mining is a lottery, so, fingers crossed, and you might just get it. But yeah, we also made a sneaker actually with it was in a partnership with NBA player Spencer Dinwiddie from the Dallas Mavericks, who reached out to do a thing, and we were like, yeah, we want to do a sneaker, are you in? Like, yes. So we built the sneaker that has like a LED display on the side of the whole shoe. It's pretty cool, and it shows you like the Bitcoin price in real time. That it has like a little 3G modem, and like we had to code the custom protocol to be like, because it has global roaming as well. Yeah, but it has to use very little data. So we like built that whole thing and a little battery, and so it's more of a like the concept cars that you see in a car show. It's not something that we're ready to do mass production of. It's a fun project, celebrating all of the unreasonable things that we do in this space, not because they're useful, but because they're fun, and that is what makes it cool as well. Yeah, right. So is it the best sneaker? No. Should it play a basketball game? No. But it looks fucking cool. And it's a bit of a work of technical marvel. I didn't build it myself. There was a whole crew of people working on all sides of it and the data endpoints. And so it has it shows you, it can show you the block height, and there's like a little app you can control.
It shows you the price.
It can show you the price of Bitcoin or the block height and a couple of other things.
At 1 million.
It will change color at 1 million. Yeah, you read the white paper, exactly. Well, it's, so yeah, why did we do that? Again, because we're normally our day-to-day is in the business of creating things that are boring and reliable. And so now guess what? We built a shoe that is exciting because, it's tricky and it sometimes doesn't work as well, and so on. And that's what makes it exciting. But it's also celebration of, things like, the block clock, the Moscow time clock, and all of these other projects that are also like not mega useful, right? That's not what they're for, but it's like a piece of art. Art's not useful, but it is valuable in itself. And so we did that thing. It was fun to collaborate with the gang on doing something very outside of our normal day-to-day of Bitcoins and gift cards and stuff.
Golden Bitcoin on Voltoro, golden Bitcoin on Voltoro, golden Bitcoin on Voltoro, golden Bitcoin on Voltoro.
Voltoro is the exchange where you deal with honest and hard money. There's no fiat on-ramp or off-ramp, and you get to diversify your Bitcoin portfolio into gold or silver when you sense that a bearish moment is coming. Also, you can instantly trade your gold for Bitcoin to buy the dip. And if you're into gold custody, Voltoro can also send you the gold that you own directly from their insured Swiss vaulting facilities. Voltoro was launched in the aftermath of the Mt. Gox hack. So since 2015, they have published monthly glass books to prove that they own all the gold reserves and all of their customers' money. Sign up today by going to voltoro.com/Bitcoin takeover. Keep in mind that this is not financial advice and you are responsible for your own decisions. Wasabi Wallet is the perfect Bitcoin privacy wallet. It's free, it's open source, it's available on Windows, macOS, and Linux, and it offers groundbreaking Chaumian coin joins, which makes your Bitcoin. Even if you do not use the coin join feature, you still benefit from a trustless experience with block filters, a hidden IP address via Tor, and easy management of your wallet outputs. After you deal with KYC exchanges like Coinbase, like Kraken, Binance, Gemini, or Bitfinex, you can remove the association between your identity and your Bitcoin address by performing a few rounds of coin joins. To find out more about the privacy benefits and limitations of coin joins, listen to Bitcoin Takeover Podcast Season 6, Episode 6 with Max Hilbrand. And if you want to give Wasabi a try, go to wasabiwallet.io and download the wallet for free. Wasabi Wallet, a Bitcoin privacy wallet for the citadels.
I guess you should do that when you started playing, not before you stopped. But it was very professional.
I'm gonna edit it. So, is there any way I can bribe you into getting one of these 5 pairs of shoes? Like, how much Bitcoin should one guy pay to get one of these wacky pairs of sneakers?
There's unfortunately. Well, I guess you can try, but it's going to be a lot. They're again very limited edition. We're going to lottery out one of them, and so yeah, it's one of these things that we all. I don't even have a pair. So it's one of these things that are, we can observe their beauty, but we cannot have it. It's like the Mona Lisa.
Sounds like my dating life. I'm kidding. Anyway.
You can pay with Lightning to stream it. If you
Yes, about Lightning. You have all of these Tor channels that you can buy. And I know that they have become more reliable over time. And also Bitrefill, since I last interviewed you in September of 2019, Bitrefill has become a much bigger player in Lightning. At the time you told me that you opened your first channel of 1 Bitcoin. Since then, I think you have several, like a dozen Bitcoins in Lightning channels. What is the plan? I know that you route a lot of transactions, you receive lots of transactions over Lightning, but you also seem to become one of the biggest players in the Lightning space. So what's the plan for that? Do you just want to collect routing fees, or do you see like a bigger game in which you can actually rent channels and basically help Lightning scale, because not everyone can open a channel on the main chain due to the limited block space?
Well, there's a lot of interesting questions in there. To be honest, I think the big thing with Lightning is getting more people to use it, because even among the Bitcoiners, Lightning is still, a small single-digit % of them that use it on a day-to-day. And so, I think that the most valuable thing that we can do for Lightning is just to build a really good gift card product that people want to buy things with their coins. And it is the number one thing in the world that people buy with Lightning by volume. But it's still small in the big picture of it. And so where our energy is now is growing it and getting it into the hands of people, and that is a marketing problem. We need to get people excited about the circular economy and all of that stuff. That's why I keep going on about it. The routing and the channels. Yeah, sure. We do that, and technical problems can be solved. When there's a pressure of people that want to use a thing, it's the best thing ever to iron out any technical kinks. So yeah, we have the Tor channels. They're working well. I mean, that Bitrefill has grown on Lightning. Well, everything has grown on Lightning. I mean, I think we were a big chunk of the Lightning network when it started, and we're a big chunk of it now. Probably the same in proportion. But everything has grown, obviously, tremendously. So yeah, and I mean, you should also expect that Bitrefill will make more things like Tor, these utility services for people that want to live in the Lightning ecosystem, and also if they want to be like a first class, run your own node, self custody type person as well. So there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline. But there's a lot of stuff to do. We're still a relatively small team, so it's always like a challenge of where we put our energy. There's no, luckily, there's no shortage of ideas.
I know that Bitrefill has this very friendly approach, which allows anyone to dump their shitcoins on you in exchange for gift cards. And you also, maybe you're not happy about the way I presented, but anyway, I wanted to ask you which percentage of transactions come from Bitcoin and Lightning as compared to, I know that you have Litecoin and Dogecoin and some other options.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bitcoin and Lightning together are, just over 40%, something like that. And it didn't used to be like that. It used to be 80-90%. And I think, we've seen a lot of growth in, I mean, Ethereum has grown with the whole DeFi movement, and if you look at that world, it's much more, aligned with a lot of. I mean, we didn't start, like I talked about this in my presentation a lot on the conference, how there you can be in the Bitcoin community, you can be a great Bitcoiner and never have a Bitcoin wallet. right? Because we have a lot of different values and ideals, and you stack sats and you hodl, but it doesn't. It's not a big part for many Bitcoiners in the community to actually have a wallet and pay people and get paid and so on. Here in Paralelni Polis, it's different, right? Here everybody's all in on this. This is why I love this place. But if you think about like in the Ethereum world, like the values are like, I should do DeFi stuff. And how do you do DeFi stuff? Well, you do it in the wallet, in the MetaMask or in the Exodus wallets. And so guess what? Those wallets are really big. So there's growth in that. There's a big growth in stable coins. I mean, Tether is massive in Latin America, and it's mostly being transferred over Tron, which, you know, who would have thought that? But that is what people are using. And so our attitude from Bitrefill is that, you know, we don't encourage anybody to buy any shitcoin. We never have and never will. But hey, where there is people that want to use things, we try to take a pragmatic approach and be where the users are.
Yeah, you're basically giving everyone possibly the last chance to dump their shitcoins before it's too late and they'll all go to zero. Maybe.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's fair. But I mean, you know, people who don't like Bitcoin would say the same about Bitcoin. So, it's the same thing. I mean, you know, hey, what kind of a shit internet money is it we're building here if you can't actually buy stuff with it, right? And that's what we're trying to fix, and we're doing this for Bitcoin. Our heart is very firmly in the Bitcoin camp, and that is what we're most caring about. This is why we're betting so big on Lightning, even though like volume-wise it's similar to Litecoin, but we think that there is a lot of future in this and in the Lightning stuff, and but in the present people are using other things, and I think that it's important to be mindful of like just metrics and traffic and like where the real activity is. You know, most shitcoins have no activity, right? And we don't support most shitcoins. We have a very select number that have happened over time and history, and but yeah, I think the growth of MetaMask and some of the other things in the Ethereum ecosystem is at least interesting to observe. You know, I disagree with a lot of the values of the DeFi stuff, but we have to also acknowledge that a lot of people use those things.
You did mention your presentation from yesterday, and unfortunately I was not able to attend it because I was watching Alekos Fellini talk about Taproot in another room. So I kind of feel bad, but now that I got for the interview, I guess I can get a summary, hopefully.
Sure. I mean, I talk a lot about like understanding, like when you're trying to build the circular economy, it's important to figure out who the customers are, right? And so in the Bitcoin world, we have, you know, the community, and so or the movement. Let's say people who care about Bitcoin, who come to conferences, people who probably listen to this will be part of the Bitcoin movement, right? But there's also Bitcoin the tool. Right, the people that use it as a tool that don't particularly love it, right? Same way that, you know, hey, we use a microphone and a camera right now, and maybe you do, but I don't go to camera conferences, right? It's a thing, right? And there's a lot of people that use Bitcoin in that sense as a tool, right? And some people are in both of these camps, right? That they're part of the community and use it as a tool. Right, but there's a lot of people who are just who are not. Like there's a lot of people in the Bitcoin community who don't use Bitcoin to make transactions on a regular basis, right? And so if you're building a circular economy service, it's a dumb idea to market it to people who don't want to use the circular economy, right? And then on the other hand, you have a lot of people that don't particularly care about Bitcoin. They just hey, yeah, I needed to buy a thing, or some guy paid me $50 and now I have some Bitcoin, or whatever it may be, right? And those people, they don't show up to conferences by definition, right? So we don't see them. Yeah, and so they don't hang out on Twitter. And so I'm like trying to present. I was presenting like data like based on, for example, which wallets people use, because you can. If you know what kind of wallet someone uses, you can learn a lot of things about the person. Like if I say someone who uses Chivo wallet, you get a clear idea. It's someone in El Salvador, and they're not very savvy because they're using government wallet. Okay, right? It tells you a lot, right? Or if I tell you someone uses MetaMask, or if I say that someone uses Exodus, or tell you someone uses Wasabi wallet, right? You get a certain idea of a persona. Of what kind of things that they do. So I presented a bunch of data based on the wallet data that we have at Bitrefill of what wallets and coins people actually use to buy stuff. Sort of trying to help people who are on the community side to see a picture of the people that use Bitcoin as a tool. And how to think about them, and sort of like think about how to reach those as well, because it's a philosophical question of like, sure, we want Bitcoin to take over the world, but is it required for that the entire population of the world becomes a Bitcoiner, hangs out on conferences and the Bitcoin Twitter? I think realistically, most people are not. Most people are going to be users of the tools and don't particularly care about it. Same way as, I used to go to internet conferences, right? Nowadays it's silly and nobody particularly goes to internet conferences, and we're all addicted to our iPhones, but we don't go to iPhone conferences, right? A tool is valuable because it is useful to people, but then it requires marketing, right? And that marketing is slightly different than the community marketing that you have in the Bitcoin community. Right, and so you, like when you're building a service, you need to be clear if you're building something that is for the movement, right? And there's companies and services and things that are very like specifically for people that hang out on Bitcoin Twitter, right? But there's also the things and services that are for people that use Bitcoin. Use is like very key phrase here, right? Like not love, use, like a tool. And that's something that's often not talked about, because again, at conferences we're all parts of the movement and we have love for it, and so we kind of assume that the universe is like that. But the Bitcoin universe is much bigger than that, and I think it's important to be aware of what this actually looks like.
Sergej, there are people out there who will tell you that gift cards and buying stuff to live on Bitcoin is peak fiat, and you should treat Bitcoin only as digital gold, something that you should save, something that you should never spend. There are people who take pride into not spending any Bitcoin, and they say, okay, since I started stacking, I haven't sold one single unit. And by the way, I prefer bits as opposed to sats, but that can be a different conversation. But how do you react to the fact that there are people against the idea of a circular economy, and they would rather, instead of selling Bitcoin, borrow dollars and therefore increase the demand for US dollar and keep it alive, as opposed to using Bitcoin as a liberation tool? Do you think that there is an ideological opposition, or do you see like a middle ground between the two categories?
So I think you need to think about like on an ideas level and on a like people's level. On the ideas level, I think that the idea is wrong, because if you can't transfer Bitcoins, if you can't transact with it, if you can't use it as money, if Bitcoin is only a tool that you buy on a centralized exchange and a bank, and then you send it again to a bank, then we don't need to save the bankers. Then the bankers will be fine, right? So, I also don't believe this whole just wait for hyper-Bitcoinization and then all of the problems are going to magically solve itself in a messianic time and we'll all end up in citadels and all of that stuff. No, like progress happens gradually. Everything that is being discussed, this discussion, like Satoshi addressed this in 2010. It's not new, you know. It's the basic stuff, and most of it was discussed in the first 6 months of Bitcoin, and it's still being discussed. So on ideas level, no, absolutely. I firmly believe that in order for Bitcoin to be useful, even as a store of value, it needs to be freedom money. And Bitcoin cannot be freedom money if it doesn't circulate in an economy where there are steps that don't necessarily require a financial institution. I very firmly believe that, and on ideas level, so I would say that I would disagree with that idea. Now, on a human level, if someone is like, yeah, well, you know, I have a lot of fiat, you know, I don't have, it's not like I'm going to buy Bitcoin for all of my money, so I still have a lot of fiat, but I want to get more Bitcoin, but I don't know, and I don't know, Americans, I guess, you know, they really like fiat, you know, and on a human level, I think that we need to remember that Bitcoin is a tool for freedom. And freedom means that you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. And if you don't want to do something, you shouldn't, right? So I'm not in the camp of like moralizing that, oh, people should, otherwise there's not going to be a circular. No, you know, like, look, on an individual level, do what you want. You know, if you want to stack sats, great. I can recommend a bunch of services that let you do that in a really good way. You know, you don't want to spend your Bitcoin? Sure, don't do that. You know, hey, you know, give it a couple of years and eventually they're going to be worth more. And then at that time, you're very welcome to come to Bitrefill. We're still going to be, even in that world, we're still going to be the #1 place to spend your Bitcoin. And we'll be happy to welcome you then. You know, so... because of this movement thing, there's a lot of moralizing, right? There's all kinds of moralizing. You know, you shouldn't eat seed oils, or, you know, like, you should run a node, you should do this and that and the other. You know, I actually think that it's good to have values and say that, you know, these things are good, but I don't think we should be moralizing, because deep down, Bitcoin is do whatever the fuck you want money. And that is more valuable. And so I think that if we want people to do something, that you know, it's a marketing challenge, right? How do you get people to do a certain thing? Well, you have to make it exciting. You have to make people to want it. And I don't think that it's a successful strategy to guilt people into feeling like, oh no, I was stacking these sats, but oh, now I have to be a part of the circular economy to make the Bitcoin go around and blah, 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 blah. Like, look, we have to make things have to be really simple and easy to use, but it also has to be fun and exciting, right? For people to want to do these things. And that's where we're focusing our energy. And that's the thing, is that, like, there's a lot of people that are in the Bitcoin community who are our dear friends. I say this with, you know, like, no irony whatsoever, that aren't customers. And you know what? Like, if you have a shop, you will have your customers and you have your friends, right? And you buy your friends a beer because they're your friends, and that's what we do a lot in the Bitcoin community movement, and sponsor meetups and buy people beer for those who are our friends. And if you're a customer, well, you can have a discount or whatever, right? But that's a different thing, and it's important to be aware of who your customers are and who your friends are, and they can and do overlap to some extent, but they don't overlap perfectly, right? I mean, there's a lot of great Bitcoiners out there. There are great people and great friends that aren't using Bitrefill, and sure, good on them, you know? I mean, it's not this absolutist thing that we need to force on people's throats. Everybody should do whatever is right for them. That's what I think. But yeah, you know, when there was last year the Bitcoin pizza that you couldn't buy with Bitcoin, that was maybe a little bit too much. But that was on values level, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of my attitude on this.
Yeah, just for the record, right now we are at Paralelni Polis on the second day of the pizza day, and you could buy pizza for Bitcoin in here.
And everybody did. Everybody paid their pizza mostly with Lightning, and it was amazing to see. And I think if I can give a shout out to the people that are watching this show, I think that Paralelni Polis in Prague, the Institute of Crypto Anarchy, is sort of like I want to say Mecca, but it's more than that because it's smaller. But it's like it is part of the heart of the cypherpunk movement and the ideals and everything. And if there's one location that you travel to see, I think this is one of those. If you haven't been to Paralelni Polis and one of their events, make sure to do so.
Yes, and just so you know, the ones watching and listening, the first Bitcoin conference did not take place in the United States of America and were not made by the Bitcoin Foundation. The first one from 2010 or 2011 took place here in Prague. And there's a huge community. This place, Paralelni Polis, is like a huge cafe where they have this beautiful studio. They have all sorts of rooms for conferences, for events. And as far as I know, they have very high maintenance costs that they must pay every month, both for rent, for utilities, for employees. But they also have Bitcoiners who are willingly sponsoring this operation so that it can keep on going. So it's really impressive that there's this spirit that they don't want to let die, and they're keeping it alive. I know that they had some political struggles on the inside and they forked basically, but they're still keeping this alive. And I don't think that their internal conflicts were leaked to the extent that people lost faith or interest into what Paralelni Polis means as spirit or organization.
Yeah, I just want to add, I mean, like, I didn't even realize, but like this place has been running since the 70s. Like, it predates Bitcoin by 30 years, you know, and they were already in the communist years, you know, talking about freedom, about privacy, about getting out of surveillance, which was, I guess, the Czech equivalent of the KGB, financial freedom, and all of these things. And now it's about cryptography and cryptocurrency and all of these things. And yeah, it's an amazing place. I think we've given it a good amount of love now.
Yes, because I want to move on and ask you what's next for Bitrefill. What kind of products or services do you want to provide? Are you going to focus more on bills, or are you going to focus more on adding more shops or options for you to buy gift cards?
There's going to be a lot more from Bitrefill, both things that follow our current you don't even need an account model, and also some things that are like more in the regulated camp where you actually do need to have an account and verify and all of that. But I mean, we're working very steadily into the direction of making it possible to live on crypto. To make it fun, to make like Coinbase has alone like close to 100 million verified users, right? The circular economy is like probably like less than 1% of that.
1 million.
That would be very generous, but yeah, I think it's significantly less than that even, and I think that that's a good first challenge for us and for the other entities and services and companies that we collaborate on building the circular economy. Is like, okay, there's a couple million people in the world that have had some kind of exposure to some kind of cryptocurrency. All right, let's convert them into like having a wallet, using their wallet on a regular basis, not as a thing that you do on a conference once every 6 months, but like making a world where it's as natural to open your Bitcoin wallet as it is to open your regular old school credit card wallet, right? And so what you should expect from Bitrefill, well, more of everything. There's going to be a lot more and better. Gift cards, lightning services, bill payment options in more countries, I think is there's a couple of other things that are also in the pipe, but I don't want to pre-announce everything. When it's ready, you're going to hear about it. we're a team of 50 people now, all working hard in this direction, and we're not slowing down. So expect a lot of stuff from us in the next year.
Usually this is the part where I ask guests how they can be followed on Twitter and other social media stuff, also their companies. But I have something more specific to add, because I know on Twitter your name is Zigzagmon. Zigamon. So okay, I thought it was Zigzagmon. It's Zigamon. But is that like a Digimon reference?
It is actually a Digimon reference. You get a point. It's a weird name that someone gave me when we were drunk in the late teenage years. And the Zigamon is the Digimon that has the most bad taste in music. And it became my internet handle long before my Bitcoin days, and I've kept it around. And it's funny, I have a hard to spell name, and then I have a hard to spell internet handle, so I guess you guys are screwed. But if you really do want to follow me for whatever reason, I think that next to this video, I guess below or maybe down and to the right, there's going to be a link to find those things. And so just click those and it'll be great. And I'm a very open and interactive person.
Thank you very much, Sergej, and I very much look forward to whatever you're doing with Bitrefill. So thanks. I hope this was caught on camera. It was. I had 30 more seconds. This was
Like becoming professional.
like clockwork.
Did you watch the clock, or do you like have an intuition for about 15 minutes?
Intuition.
Yeah.
It
I
was-
guess you've done a few of these.
I did, and
But it-
sometimes.
Commercial break. Gold and Bitcoin on Voltoro. Gold and Bitcoin on Voltoro. Gold and Bitcoin on Voltoro. Gold and Bitcoin on Voltoro.
Voltoro is the exchange where you deal with honest and hard money. There is no fiat on-ramp or off-ramp, and you get to diversify your Bitcoin portfolio into gold or silver when you sense that a bearish moment is coming. Also, you can instantly trade your gold for Bitcoin to buy the dip. And if you're into gold custody, Voltoro can also send you the gold that you own directly from their insured Swiss vaulting facilities. Voltoro was launched in the aftermath of the Mt. Gox hack, so since 2015 they have published monthly glass books to prove that they own all the gold reserves and all of their customers' money. Sign up today by going to voltoro.com/Bitcoin takeover. Keep in mind that this is not financial advice and you are responsible for your own decisions. Wasabi Wallet is the perfect Bitcoin privacy wallet. It's free, it's open source, it's available on Windows, macOS, and Linux, and it offers groundbreaking Chaumian CoinJoins, which makes your Bitcoin. Even if you do not use the CoinJoin feature, you still benefit from a trustless experience with block filters, a hidden IP address via Tor, and easy management of your wallet outputs. After you deal with KYC exchanges like Coinbase, like Kraken, Binance, Gemini, or Bitfinex, you can remove the association between your identity and your Bitcoin address by performing a few rounds of CoinJoins. To find out more about the privacy benefits and limitations of CoinJoins, listen to Bitcoin Takeover Podcast Season 6, Episode 6 with Max Hilbrand. And if you want to give Wasabi a try, go to wasabiwallet.io and download the wallet for free. Wasabi Wallet, a Bitcoin privacy wallet for the citadels.